first off, I just want to say how awesome all of you guys are for being here. It says a lot about yourself, that you are on a path to better yourself. And I just want to share a little bit about some experiences that I've had that have really helped me grow, and I've been able to bless other people and improve their lives with it as well. And it's the door-to-door industry. I've actually knocked over 200,000 doors in door-to-door sales, mainly in the solar industry, some in the alarm industry. But one thing I didn't know about door-to-door sales is a lot of these people that I've looked up to for a long time, Tony Robbins, does billions and billions of dollars, huge impact. Sarah Blakely, who owns Spanx, who's worth over $1 billion. Ed Milet, he's worth nearly $500 million. Like all these huge names and these huge influencers, they all started in door-to-door industry. Well, I was actually watching a video the other day by Grant Cardone, and he was talking about how diverse and how quickly you build as a door-to-door salesman because you talk to so many different people. One of the things that I really focus on a lot is understanding different people's personalities. And there's things called, there's bold type personalities, there's tigers, there's multiple different personalities. And this has really helped me in my personal life as well. And so taking the over 200,000 doors and then seeing what it's done and helped people build companies in the billions range is just so, it gave me this drive that I didn't even know that I had. And I actually just went on a family vacation. This is kind of like the benefits that I've gotten out of door to door. I actually just went on vacation to Hawaii last week and had a great time, but I had connected with my family more than I ever had. Just at a deeper level, being more invested into them, being able to connect with them better because I understand their personality types more from the sales aspect. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to sell them anything. Sales is everything. It transfers across the board from personal relationships to a marriage to business sales to all that stuff. And I was just flabbergasted at how much of my life it improved because you're literally knocking. I mean, on the hard days, I've knocked over 250 doors in one day, and you get so much repetition in. Not every day do we knock that many doors, but you get so much repetition in. And so I liked it so much and I got so much out of it. I increased my income so much that I actually started to be able to coach and teach other people because I love seeing the value that I bring to other people and their eyes light up and say, oh my gosh, I just made in 1 week or 1 month what I used to make annually. And now they're a better person. Their body language is better. They're not just slouching over, hey, how's your day going? Da, da, da. They're actually alive people looking at you in the eyes, making eye contact, body language, all that stuff that seems so-called silly or salesy actually really, really deepens our ability to connect with people and have better relationships, have more sales in our companies and all this type of stuff. And I was flabbergasted at those results that I got. So I keep digging deeper and deeper, but then there's so much satisfaction from helping and growing a team. I'm coaching a team here in Utah right now, here in the United States, that just taking people from zero to hero, and it's the coolest thing, and go out there and watch them and be like, hey, this is what you did good on. This is what you didn't do good on. And so building that culture and helping, teaching people grow has been one of my most recent fun things that I've been doing. And I absolutely love helping people improve personally and in their income in life.
Awesome, Colten. Thank you so much for sharing your story. So again, as I'm giving Colten some feedback, please go ahead and type in the chat box if you have any testimonials. Now, I said I was going to send you the instructions, I didn't, so that's my fault to you and Joanna. I actually have it recorded in a previous call, probably like a month ago, but for anyone that's going to be our Gifters Talks next month, just make sure, I'll share this with you after I give some feedback to Colten. So again, 2 different aspects, your communication ability, and then your ability to convince someone that you have a believable coaching or keynote speaking career. So the communication skills, you come off as very, very genuine, affable, and friendly, which is great because again, people want to hang out with people they trust. So you have that down in spades where you're really, really believable, very honest and genuine. In terms of your content, and again, this is on me where I didn't really give you that much structure. The whole 200,000 person thing is great. Referencing Ed Milet, Tony Robbins, Sarah Blakely is great because if you were to start it off, especially if you have a slide, if you were to say, do you know what Tony Robbins, Sarah Blakely, and John Paul DeJoria have in common? You pause. And then you put a slide and then look door-to-door. Yeah. They were all in door-to-door sales. It's just like pulls people in immediately, but I love the whole referencing those people that are billionaires or building out companies. They have a skill set. And if you're in a small group setting, you say, you know what that skill set was? Pause, door-to-door sales. And then you go into your sale. Then you go into your story. And again, we all have stereotypes, assumptions, what that is. Like, you talk about, what was your first moment when you started knocking on doors, Colten?
Say that again. You cut out the first second.
The first moment you started knocking on doors, were you afraid? Were you scared? Were you getting butterflies? Were you wanting to barf? Like, tell me that first time you started knocking on doors, or was this like, whatever, I'll do this?
Yeah, we like to call it aligning the butterflies, because the butterflies never go away. You just learn how to align them. So yes, there's a lot of you don't know what's on the other side of the door. You don't know if you can slam the door in your face. You don't know if somebody's very nice. So
what I would challenge you to do is think of one story that really some guy or gal was so angry that they slammed their door in your face or get whatever, you know what I mean? So you're just having these dramatic stories. And then you have another story about it was like life changing, for instance. And this is why stories are so powerful. I used to mentor a 6-year-old kid named Nathan, where his mother hired me as his life coach because I was helping his older brother go into college. And I would take walks with Nathan in a place called San Marino, which is like the Beverly Hills of in a certain part of in LA. And I wanted to teach him about people, surroundings, and there was a lemon tree. And he's 6 years old, so he wanted to just grab the lemon. He's like, Nathan, is that lemon yours? He's like, no. I say, well, we can always ask them if they can give you that lemon. But Nathan, before we knock on that door, something might happen, meaning no one's going to answer the door. They might open the door and get really angry, or that person might give us the lemon. Nathan, are you okay with that? Where they don't open the door, they are mean to us, or maybe they'll give us the lemon. Nathan, again, 6 years old, nods his head, smiles because he wants the lemon, but I don't want him to steal the lemon from someone else's tree. So we knock on the door. Again, I'm the guy that's mentoring him. He said, hi, how are you? I'm Nathan's mentor. He's 6 years old, and he really wants one of your lemons. Would you mind if we have one of your lemons? This woman, she's in her 70s. She looks at us. She starts smiling. It's like, of course. So she smiles. Nathan smiles. Nathan gets a lemon, and everyone was happy. Okay, that's a story that is more than 10 years old. About a little 6-year-old kid who wants a lemon from a tree that we would be stealing, but I wanted to teach him a lesson about morality, about courage, and about rejection. But notice how I just shared a story of Nathan that you inspired me to share, Colten. But those are the stories that when you all employ and put and insert these stories into your speech, people are going to be walking up to you like, oh my God, let me pay you money. I want to hire you. But Colten, find those stories. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, going back to the emotional appeal, everyone wants to feel moved. This is why Hollywood is so powerful and so moving. They build up a story. So in your case, Colten, I would flesh out some of those stories that are, again, horrific, but memorable. Mm-hmm. So sweet, also memorable. But then the key thing is you are an expert in sales. You have 200,000 lessons to prove it. And I'm going to teach you, Christopher, Christine, Victoria, Ryan, and all of our gifters how to crush it in sales. So it's very clearly defined. It's called a through line, where there's one theme in that whole speech. All the stories and the associations all are edifying and creating this clear through line about you're an expert. You're going to teach us how to be an expert in sales. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm actually going to go through and rewatch this and pick this apart of your advice back. Thank you for that, because one thing that I feel is like I felt like I was almost pitching. I was almost like trying to sell myself and just like tell you my story. But when I listen to you speak, Chris, I feel myself in that story.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what I need to lean more towards and achieve more. You know what I mean?
And here's the power of stories. Again, this is completely on the fly, where I found a story that relates to Colten about door knocking. And it's a cute story about a 6-year-old boy named Nathan, but I was mentoring, right? But I'm painting this picture. I came out of the fly, but all of you really want to have all these various stories and really you only need 3 types of stories: personal story, professional story, client stories. Personal stories, professional stories, client stories. And the beauty of life is there's so many stories that you like, even with Colten. Colten's both a client and a friend now. He's part of our team. Colten sent me a text, which I sent to Shelly. He's like, Christopher, I applied your advice and I got to meet this Lamborghini owner. I'm like, that's cool. I'm going to call you Mr. Lambo from now on, right? But we are now building our own history. So I want to build history with all of you individually as a collective and as a global community. But just know those stories are so powerful. Colten, again, your foundation is already solid. It's my fault that you didn't have a structure, but I just thought, let me just throw this guy in and see kind of what he does. But now that you know, anytime you're speaking, at least in this context, I want to really hone your skill set as a speaker with an authority on a topic, which is in your case, for now, it sounds like you're really good at sales, which I think you are. And every single business coach, consultant, anyone, frankly, in life needs sales skills. So if that is your expertise, then it's like, okay, what is your type of sales? Door-to-door sales, like I said, that can be punishing. So what are 3 things that you use over those times? Because every salesperson is going to have to deal with rejection, rudeness, right? Stamina, persistence. So for you, you have a great advantage that you have a skill set that everyone wants. You have a unique packaging that very few people can even go close to, 200,000 people. And lastly, now it's just structuring it out that it's very digestible, just like a menu. Appetizer, main course, dessert. Keep things simple. Remember, you're not here to complicate things. Whenever I hear people say, oh, it's complicated, or you're only giving 1 minute or 5 minutes, I can tell you what I do in 10 seconds. So that's their ego talking. All of you should be able to be concise in your lesson. I just went to my dermatologist this morning. She asked me what I do. I'm a keynote speaker and an author. Oh, really? What do you talk about? Well, for my corporate clients, I talk about leadership, sales, and networking. For my solopreneurs, I talk about networking and how to get paid as a speaker. She nods her head. Cool, right? But 6 seconds, all of you rehearse this down to the pat, record yourself in person on the phone so that you want to be able to record it and say it like a prayer. Because if you don't, you're not really an expert. You can say you are, but you're not. In Colten's case, all you need to do is really come up with a cool title, but you have the skill set. And then you're actually already ready to build your own coaching program if you want. That's up to you. Again, you have a lot on your plate, but we can talk more in the future. But overall, great job in terms of foundation. Now it's really about focusing on that direction where you, like a tour guide, are guiding us toward your journey of success in sales. Does that make sense?
Makes 100% sense. Yeah.
And all of you, I would encourage you, even though we're on these Zoom calls, you have like your body language. I don't know if you're slouching or not, but just for you and Joanna and all of you, I would encourage you to stand up when you speak, even though you're probably sitting, but it's something different, especially if you're doing a Zoom call. When you stand up, you just have much more of a presence. So keep that in mind for future talks. If you're ever invited to do a podcast or another virtual talk, keep that in mind, because just physiologically, it's something that allows you to just be more aware and alert. So any questions for me, Colten?
No, that's good. I think I'm going to go through this recording and pick apart your advice and actually get it in place so I know what structure to use. Great. Because I was 80% winging it.
Yeah, and I know. And again, that's on me, by the way. Again, that's my fault, where I am continuing to improve our experience with all of you. And I actually do have it recorded. We couldn't find it, but the recording is